and steep it. But I find that if you just take the bacon and just immerse it in the water, just leave that sitting on it, so and you're not going to boil this too hard. Same with the corned beef. Nice piece of beef. Put that in, and now what we're going to do later on after it boils, we'll get some of the salt out. Then we'll put a little bit of onion into it. But that's only going to help to the flavours. It's not going to go wild with the flavours, because really the whole idea of boiling them is to remove a lot of the salt and to tenderise it. And you're going to make a white sauce with it. Then you're going to serve cabbage with it. You know, and the flavours of the bacon and the flavours of the meat has been well pickled.
And why do we actually start these off in a cold water?
Well, I prefer to start these in a warm water. It helps get the salt, infuse the salt all out of it, bring it out, you know, and then you can skim it. You'll see an awful lot of scum will come, and that will be the salt and all the impurities come to the top.
And you see a lot of people that when it comes to the boil, they'll actually throw off the first boiling and they'll restart it again.
Yeah, that is to remove all salt.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a tip for you people at home that basically if you have a salty piece of bacon that you know it's just too salty, well the reason for that is because you didn't take off the first boiling after it came to the boil, throw it off and restart it again in fresh cold water and bring it back to the boil again. That be true?
Yes, true. And what we're going to do here is we're going to get the diced lambs all nicely cut up. As you see, there's good fat content into it. And what will happen, because it's all neck and shoulder, when that comes to the boil, you get a big brown scum on it. Right, so what we're going to do with this is, we're going to put this in water, bring it to the boil, and then we're going to refresh it completely. Just let this come up. What I'm going to do here is this one. Just turn it around. We're going to wash this all off and just let it come up. Just give it, you see it getting cloudy already. That's the blood and everything in the water. Bring it all up, get all the impurities out. These will put back in fresh water, and then we can add our vegetables and all the things that are going to make it into a nice Irish stew.
And again, this recipe that we're going to be using here now, is this any recipe that anybody can follow at home?
It's a simple recipe. Everything we're doing here is simple food, done easily, and anyone can follow it.
Okay.
Anyone.
Okay, that's it, chefs. We'll bring you back now when we're at the next stages of refreshing our lamb and also looking at taking our corned beef and our bacon to the next stage. Okay, this is the St. Patrick's Day video showing you how to do simple Irish dishes, simple Irish food, but again, very tasty, and for St. Patrick's Day, you can't really get better.
Scum is coming to the top. So all the heavy scum you take off, because otherwise it boils down. Lower your gas. Stop it boiling too vigorously, because what happens is all the grease and scum just goes back down through the meat. Just take it all off. See it there? Because you want a nice clear Irish stew when you get there.
So people at home would follow the same procedure that you're doing here, is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. And you're really only blanching the meat, cooking the meat here. So you're going to get this all the heavy scum off the top. Right? Some people are inclined to leave it like that there, but what happens is then they get a scummy kind of stew when they're finished, and it becomes brown. One thing most people were saying about Irish stew, Irish stew is a classic white stew. The original Irish stew didn't have carrots or anything like that in it. It only had celery, leek, onion, wild garlic, and herbs. Wild herbs because it was a peasant dish, and carrots weren't grown because the time this all came about, carrots weren't here in this country. It's a brought in vegetable.
So, okay, are you going to refresh this off? Are you going to...
I'm going to refresh it off now, just getting rid of all the heavy, greasy scum.
So when you say that if people don't remove this, I mean, you can see there, obviously, right, the amount of actual just crap gunk that's come up and out of that meat, yeah? So what happens is that if people leave that in, they're just going to have an absolutely foul-tasting end result.
Yeah, you're going to have the real hoggety flavour, you know, the fat.
Yeah.
In your
greasy flavour.
If you put your tongue to your palate, you'll get that greasy flavour.
Okay. So would you also now, you just said here we're going to refresh this. Now, do you want to explain to people what refreshing is?
We're going to run it underneath the tap, cold water. And and all the gunge will come out, and then when it's nice and clear, you put it back on with cold water, bring it back to the boil, and let it cook.
Okay, super.
And
So
that would make a lamb stock, and then we add the vegetables to it as well.